Gwe Ganawagarono, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Stock, and we have today with us...
Christine Taylor.
Ross Montori,
and we're still waiting for another person, eh? Not today, though.
Well,
You're supposed to have another
I
person?
put out some work. We'd like to get another, there's space there to have another seat. And we've been doing this from the beginning. We started out, the first show, remember, we had 4 people.
Right.
At different times we have had 4. It's nice to have 4. I'd like to get another lady, if possible. So if anybody has any suggestions, I put out some feelers. I'm still waiting to hear back about suggestions.
But time to time, though, if there's other people who want to come on, regardless of whether they're a man or a woman, they can come on and discuss some of the issues, the current events that are going on in the community, and
Right.
And voice their opinion. So anyway, that's always open. But we had a community meeting recently.
We did?
As far as I know, we did.
I mean, MCK held their community meeting.
Well, isn't it the same thing?
But that's debatable, but that's what we're here for. All right, so what were some of the topics that were discussed at the meeting? Do you know?
I didn't go.
Okay, I didn't go
And,
either.
you didn't go, and Ross didn't go.
No.
But
We did have somebody.
Jessica went.
Jessica
Yes.
went, and we do have an outline.
Mucho gracias for doing that.
So we know that they talked about the scenery. And there was apparently going to be a big announcement. And but turns the announcement is they put it out to ask the community how they want to be consulted. My thought is initially, again, like a former cartoonist kind of thing, but they already asked though.
How many times can you ask? How many times do you want to be consulted?
Yeah, no, and be told, well, we want the land. Now, mind you, I mean.
Well, that's not what the question was. The question was, how do you want to be consulted about the land? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's not actually the questions about the scenery, but how do you want to be contacted, and how would be the best way to get the communication for this across? Okay,
Yeah.
that was the question, apparently. That's my gist of it.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Well, let's say through communiques and through media, and that would be the answer for everybody. Nobody wants you to phone them. Nobody wants, that's basically how most people are going to get that information anyway.
Okay, so apparently, due to the information that was gathered, that they want posters and advertisements appearing throughout the community, as well as a website with historical documentation that will be launched. Also, MCK is asking people to sign up for a consultation, and that's filling out the further forms and stuff like that.
These are just suggestions. They're
And these
suggestions
are
about
other
how you want to be
just
consulted.
small groups. All right, like
Do you want
like
small
what we're doing
groups,
here.
or do you want
they can come
telephone
in,
stuff?
Hey, we can film a consultation live. Okay. How about a drop-in center, special community consultation, like a community meeting specifically
And
on
then
that.
after that, we can film paint drying.
Email or Facebook, as well as on the telephone or other. But okay. I personally, don't call me. I won't be home anyway, so.
At the end of the day, it's just, I don't know. There's a few issues as far as that with that scenery, and it's like what's right and what's wrong, what's going on, what's not going on. We hear some things, we don't hear other things. As far as I knew, that we already had land from Highway 30 with Mike DeLille's deal that he made.
Well, we're supposed to get back 700 acres.
But they keep
Of
saying
that
that, and
land
then you know what the thing is you keep hearing, well, we think it's going to be around the boundaries over here, and maybe on the boundaries here, or maybe over here. But what is that?
But the problem there, and the main criticism there is that when that deal was made, okay, by Mike DeLille, and then at different points, then they said, well, they all agreed or whatever. But there was nothing on paper.
And that's the biggest problem that I have as far as that's concerned. You can say whatever you want, and I don't know if Joe Norton would have made that deal, but Mike DeLille made that deal or agreement, or anyway, to avert any problems for the land where Highway 30 is on. I think that's one of the issues that this community should have at least fought for. Sort of like Caledonia situation. You know what I mean? We should have done something more than just, all right, then take the land, plow it down, we're not gonna use it, you need a road. You know, we'll take the farmland that's by us. You know, and then, but then at the end
But
of
you
the
don't think
day,
that this is gonna come
nothing
down-
is defined.
Yeah.
While we think that we're going to give you this, and we think that we want this, but where is it written? Now you want to consult us on
But I say,
what?
but there's
On
been
the
no
bad deal?
offers, no offers have been made. So we're not talking about it, so don't think there's an offer made. But we have also, as the community, we don't have any indication as to what progress has been made on this file. We know that this land that was sort of given up for the highway, that land is not forthcoming. There's some talk about, will there be a piece here, there's a piece there. Meanwhile, the feds are selling off Nuns Island, Grey Nuns Island, and then apparently another piece in St. Catharines or something given over some business guy over there. And so there's nothing that's happening, and you're right, you know what, is there should have been, instead of planting little flags around the edge of the community, which is what they did, there should have been an injunction, a stoppage on
should have
that
been
whole
something.
issue. But there wasn't, but you know, you just hear these statements made by, well, we do things the right way. Well, what is that?
Yeah,
What is that?
The right way is, well, we'll keep consulting the community on it, which, I don't know. I mean, the people in the community need to know what's going on, really what's going on. And right now, other than saying that we're working on this, we're working on that, let's talk about other issues right now. We're gonna come back to this later on. I know that this is a not contentious, but it needs to be discussed more. And I think that, you know, later on in the show, we'll talk a little bit more about it when we have more time. But let's look at some of the other items on the, that were on the agenda.
MSI.
The MSI was on the agenda again, and I had some concern the last time about that and I think that, Jessica had mentioned that some people did bring that up, or one of the chiefs did bring it up, to some of the concerns that we voiced on our show. And it wasn't specifically just from us, it was from community members that I spoke to personally that had concerns about whether or not they can afford it. Anyway, we had an issue, the daycare, and that was resolved. You know, I don't know if it was because of the show, or maybe that, you know, I got more information for them and globally and looked at it, and they gave me a better rate, you know, and not much higher than what I was paying. You know, it was based on what other daycares in the community are paying. Anyway, but it turned out good for me, you know, so that's one thing that I have to say is a plus, and, you know, I at least I'd like to congratulate the MSI to do a little bit more homework, because I had to do my homework to make sure that my employees were covered and that we were able to afford it.
Right.
So, but that is an issue that, you know, with the MSI, and, you know, it's a good thing that the government is agreeing to that. You know, it's been a long time that MSI has been in this community, and it doesn't work. I mean, we're not gonna have it 100% compatible to the CSST issue, and I think it's 90%, and the MSI is 75%, but it's a community thing, and.
But
So-
one of the things, but there are concerns that community members are expressing, for instance, is that it isn't equal, is one, but not only in terms of the amounts.
Equal to.
To CSST.
Okay, yeah.
And not just in terms of, let's say, recouping the loss of income, but also in terms of benefits, actual benefits. And one of the things that was raised at the meeting was they don't have, certain programs are not covered under MSI. The other thing was, and this again, and we talked about this, I only mentioned it briefly, but one community member approached me and said, you know, the thing is, I know I have a brother who was working and ended up on MSI, and in a year he was booted off the program, and there isn't anything else. And one of the concerns is that in terms of having a recognition from the provinces, is basically you're going to be stuck with that. And,
There's, you know what, it has its benefits for the employee, you know what I mean? And rightfully so, that's where it should be. But as an owner, it's a little bit different. You know, it becomes something else, and how do you deal with that as an owner to be able to offer those things to employees? You know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing, but yet you're
Yeah.
right, in CSST.
It's a double-edged sword.
Well,
You know,
it's
for
to some
both
degree,
people,
yeah.
because the issues that I have, a lot of it is that from what I can gather, that it's very hard to find concrete answers to some of the questions that you have about the more nuance, or exceptions to the rule kind of thing. Like it's not, and a lot of like we're dealing with people's lives, we're dealing with people's health. So it's not always cut and dried. It's not always like, well, you're going to get like 8 weeks to recover for this or that. Like it's very,
So
it's cumbersome.
well, let's discuss it a little bit more, but we're going to take a quick break
Okay.
because we're running out of time, and we'll be back right after these messages.